All right, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with the team on this Thursday morning. Now, the Ombudsman for Long-Term Insurance, which is OLTI, recovered 199 million rand for complainants in 2016. Close to 50% of the grievances were over rejected claims as well as a poor service by insurers. This is according to a report by the Ombud released this week, which goes as far as mentioning insurers most complained about. Jennifer Preiss is Deputy Ombudsman for Long-Term Insurances, and she joins us this morning live from our studios in Parliament. Jennifer, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning.
Now,
good morning.
The report was mostly on life cover insurances, but did it perhaps look into other types of insurances as well?
Yes, we have complaints about funeral insurance, disability insurance, health insurance, and credit life as well.
All right. But in terms of, as I said on my introduction, that about 5,435 chargeable complaints were received in 2016. What trends did you pick up from the insurance in those many complaints received?
There haven't been sort of remarkable trends in the past year. It's been very consistent with previous years. As you mentioned, the most complaints are about claims, and then still poor service is unfortunately a reason for a lot of the complaints. So nothing really new in terms of the trends.
All right. But what happens when insurance companies are found to have given poor service to their policyholders? What happens? How do you intervene?
Well, in the first instance, we ask the complainant to deal with the insurer to see whether they can sort out the problem. If they can't, then we intervene, and we then try and resolve the issue, either directly with the insurer or getting the two parties together. And usually with service complaints, fortunately, one can manage to resolve them fairly quickly, and then hopefully the complainant is satisfied.
What would you say, Jennifer, is the approach that most insurance companies are taking now? Are they mostly concerned about making profit, or are they taking the interests of the policyholders into consideration?
I've unfortunately lost the sound. I think you're asking what approach insurers are taking.
Yes.
I think insurers are more aware of the fact that they have to deal with complaints quickly and effectively. But unfortunately, there's still some insurers that are struggling to do that. So I think with the treating customers fairly approach of the FSB and now the Conduct Authority, insurers have become aware of the fact that complaints are important, and more attention is being given to complaints.
Yeah, but you also have the list of the worst insurers when responding to complaints. Talk to us about those companies, not to mention them per se, but what happens with such companies?
I'm sorry, I have no sound in my ear. If you're asking about the insurers that we mentioned that had more than 5 second reminders, what has happened is that we have a committee that is a liaison committee with the industry, and they themselves suggested that any insurer that has more than 5 second reminders should be published. And we've done that in the past few years, and we are seeing that that does make a difference in the way that insurers respond to complaints. But unfortunately, there are still those outliers that have more than 5 second reminders. And what happens with those insurers is that they pay a double fee. So they get published, and then they pay a higher fee for every second reminder case, which we regard as an incompetent categorization.
Yeah, I don't know if you'll still be able to hear me, Jennifer, but looking at...
I can now,
Can
yes.
you? All right, good. Looking at this number of chargeable complaints received, 29% of them were resolved in favor of the complainants. Where are the loopholes here? What actually went wrong?
I'm sorry, I've lost you again.
Oh, okay.
I think you're asking about the wholly or partially in favor of complainants. So those are complaints that are resolved in favor of complainants, not necessarily overturned by our office, but after the complaint has come to our office, the insurer either by themselves or through a determination by our office resolves the complaint in favor of the complainant. And this can be a claim that is paid, it can be the reinstatement of a policy, or it can simply be a service complaint that is resolved in favor of the complainant. And it's 29% for the complaints that come to our office, but if we add to that the complaints that we've transferred to insurers, that they've then resolved in favor of complainants, then the percentage goes up to 37%.
But to avoid such challenges and problems, how can clients empower themselves before signing contracts with insurers to sort of avoid disappointments, more so looking into issues around languages and customary laws and so on?
Well, I can hardly hear you, but I think you're asking about the customary law case that we published in the annual report. That was a final determination. And it's the first time in many years that I've certainly been in the office that we've had a case of a customary adoption. And what happened was the person who died was the adopted son of the policyholder, and he had said that this was his son. And when the claim came through, the insurer refused to accept this child as the son of the policyholder. The insurer was prepared to cover the child as an extended family member, but not as an adopted son, because the adoption had been by way of customary law, which does not go through a court process. And we looked at the submissions that were made, and we were satisfied that there had been a legal adoption, but the insurer didn't accept it. So we made first a provisional determination, which is our normal procedure, and after that we made a final determination. And then the insurer actually appealed against our decision, because we've got an internal appeal procedure, and then fortunately withdrew that. And the insurer paid the claim. It was not a big claim. And then in addition to that, paid compensation for poor service. We have the right to make such rewards where an insurer has given poor service. We can reward compensation irrespective of the outcome of a complaint.
Yeah. All right, Jennifer, we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for coming through. Jennifer Preiss is Deputy Ombudsman for long-term insurances, joining us this morning live from our studios in Parliament. And apologies, of course, for that poor sound quality.